Hi there. Greetings. It is Tonya Poole. I hope everybody is doing all right out there. And I hope you can hear me because I'm in my car and there's traffic going by. Um, I figured while I was waiting, I'm actually waiting for someone who is handling some business right now. So I figured let me come on here live and just talk for a few minutes about some of what it means to be extraordinary or an extraordinary woman and the three mistakes that I see that a lot of women make when they are trying to claim they're extraordinary. So I will go ahead and say up front, as you see on, there's a link attached to this live. And I do have an e-course that is launching this Friday. Registration actually closes on Friday. And the first lesson is released on Friday, May 22nd, called Break the Rules and Become Extraordinary. And it's a 3-part e-course that goes through 3 of the top rules that women need to make when they are becoming extraordinary. So make sure that you click that link if you want to learn more and if you want to register, because again, registration does close in about 4 days. So I would love for you to be a part of it. But today I'm just coming on live for just a few minutes just to talk about the 3 mistakes that I see that a lot of women make when they are striving to become extraordinary or wanting to be more, have more, do more, whatever it is that they are wanting. And so the first mistake that a lot of women make is not defining it. So, one thing that I know about women who are extraordinary is that they define what extraordinary means to them. Just like everything else, you have to define what love means for you, what success means for you, what happiness means for you. You have to define what extraordinary or what being more than ordinary means for you. So my definition for extraordinary may not be yours, or your definition may not be the same as someone else's, or may not be the same as like your family's definition for it or your friend's definition for it. And so it's very important that you define what extraordinary means to you. What does it mean to be more than ordinary? What does it mean to be ordinary? Sometimes we have to start there. We have to define what does ordinary, what does basic, what does average, what does regular look like for us in particular, and in order to understand what extraordinary looks like. One of the things that I do know, excuse me, is that no matter what your definition for extraordinary is, it more than likely includes joy. Now, it may not, excuse me, it may not include a specific amount of money. It may not include, being married or not being married, or, having this kind of career, not having that kind of career. All of those things are kind of subjective to you. They depend on you. But one thing I do know is that when a woman feels like she is living her extraordinary life, joy is always present. So if you are struggling to define what extraordinary means for you, or if this is just the first time, like I may be challenging you right now to define what does it mean to be or to live more extraordinarily. What I do know is that joy has to be present in that. If you are someone who thinks that just having a lot of money means that you have become extraordinary, but in having that amount of money, there's no joy. Actually, it brings you down more, or it's more stressful to you. Then perhaps perhaps having millions of dollars is not what extraordinary means for you. Or maybe you need to redefine all of that and say, okay, well, to be extraordinary, and to have joy. Hey, Keith. To have joy means that, if I'm going to have joy in my life, I have to define, what exactly does joy look like for me? And so one of the things that I know, when a woman is joyous, all of the other experiences around her align to that particular level of joy. And so she can be living her extraordinary life because she is joyous. So what I know is that for women, not defining what extraordinary is and not even knowing where their joy points are, can be what is hindering you from knowing what extraordinary is for you. And also, if you are looking at someone else's life and saying, okay, that is what extraordinary is, but not knowing if that is what it would mean for you, then that could be that is a drawback. Okay. So again, extraordinary women define what extraordinary means for them. And if you don't define it, you will never have it. So that's the first mistake, is not defining it. Number 2 is wanting for your outer world to change, or waiting for your outer world to change, or waiting for something outside of you to change. I will have better, I will experience better, I will be happy, when, fill in the blank, right? And so that is a major block for a lot of women who are saying that they want to be, do, and have more in their lives. It's like just sitting here, and saying, I wish that this would happen. I wish that would happen. I would be happy if this would happen. I would feel successful if this would happen. I would feel extraordinary, if this would happen. And it's like that. Extraordinary begins within you. Extraordinary begins with the same way a lot of other things in life begin, with a decision, right? And so if you're not making that decision, which is probably because you haven't done the first thing, which was to define it, then you will always just be waiting for something outside of yourself to align in a way to make it possible for you to have this extraordinary life that you desire. But that's, the thing is, even if everything aligned the way you want it to align, like if people acted the way you wanted them to act, if your job paid you more money, if you started that business, if this happened, if that happened, if you still haven't defined it, if you still don't know where your joy points are, even if those things change for you, you wouldn't be able to receive it. You couldn't even recognize it as the extraordinary opportunities that you want, because only an extraordinary woman can recognize extraordinary opportunities and extraordinary changes that are happening around her so that she can grab hold of them. So, the extraordinary life begins with an extraordinary you. So if you're waiting for something outside of you to change, to align, to fix, or whatever, so that you can be, do, or have the things that you want, or the experiences that you want, or be the person that you envision yourself to be, that is a huge mistake. That's a very huge mistake. And you'll be waiting forever. And then you'll become that woman who blames everything and everybody for the conditions of your life. You cannot control anybody else or anything, or anything else. You can only control yourself. All right. And so why not use most of your energy and funnel most of your energy towards controlling the thing that you can control the most, which is yourself, which is how you think, how you act, how you behave, what you give your energy to, what you focus on. That is what you can control. And it is through being able to control yourself that you recognize extraordinary opportunities when they come to you. And then the third mistake that I see a lot of women make when they are going for, hoping for, wishing for a more extraordinary version of themselves is not believing it. Belief is such a powerful, powerful, powerful thing. You know why? Belief is not the same as wishing or wanting. I'm going to repeat that. Belief is not the same as wishing or wanting. Belief is an expectation. So I can wish or I can want for a specific thing to happen in my life, but whatever I believe is what I expect to happen. There's a very big difference. I can say, or you can say, I wish and I hope to have, an increase on my job or to find a better job. But belief says I expect, a raise. I expect a better opportunity. So wishing to be extraordinary, and again, go back and listen to mistake number one that women make, which is not defining what extraordinary means to you. But once you define what extraordinary means for you, you can't just wish for it and you can't just want it. Wishing and wanting it is not going to make it happen. What makes it happen for you is believing for it. And another word for belief is expectation. Belief is not some little frivolous thing that may or may not happen. Belief is a set expectation. So women who are going for, hoping for, desiring for their extraordinary version of their lives believe that it is possible. They expect it. They define it. They align to it, and then they expect it. So if you are not believing it, always ask yourself, and this is an exercise that you can do. Ask yourself, what do I wish for and hope for, right? And then ask yourself, but what do I actually expect? And for a lot of you, I feel that that's going to be the thing that helps you to see what's been blocking your blessing. Because you'll say, oh yeah, I wish for this, I wish for that, this is going to happen, or this, I wish this would happen, or this would be nice if this happened, or I wish this, I wish that, this would be great. And then if you say, but do you expect those things to happen for you? Well, maybe, if this circumstance would change, or if my husband would do this, or if my job would do this, or if my children would do, then maybe. That's not enough. That means you're wishing for something, you're wishing for an experience in your life that you don't even believe is possible. And so because you don't have the belief that it's possible, you will subconsciously, continuously block your own blessings because you don't believe it, because you don't expect it. All right. So those are the three mistakes that I see most women making when they are saying that they want to be, do, or have more in their lives, when they want to move from just ordinary to extraordinary. I will recap. The first one is not defining it. All extraordinary women define what extraordinary means to them, and no two women have the exact same definition. So if you're basing your extraordinary on what another woman already has, or what she's experiencing, or what your mama or auntie or whoever says it means extraordinary, then you are already on the wrong path, because you have to define it for yourself. And the one thing that I know always comes with being extraordinary is joy. So wherever your joy is where your extraordinary is. And your joy may not be what brings me joy. So that's why we don't have the same definition for extraordinary. And that's why you have to define what extraordinary means to you. So number one is you have to define what extraordinary means to you. Number two, the second mistake, the first mistake is not defining it. The second one is waiting for conditions outside of you to change before you can allow yourself to be or do that, be extraordinary. Extraordinary women don't wait for everything outside of them to align to their definition of extraordinary. They align within themselves to their definition of extraordinary first, and then the outer world begins to shift and move in their favor. And then the third thing is not believing it, not believing in your extraordinary. And again, belief is an expectation. It is not a wish. It is not a desire. It is not a want. Belief is an expectation. So you can wish for something and you can expect for something, right? And sometimes you can wish for something that you don't actually expect will happen. That means you don't have belief. And so that non-belief is what's blocking your blessings from coming to you. All right. So those are the three mistakes that I see most women making on the road to becoming extraordinary. I want to help you to break all the rules that keep you stuck and stagnant and living below your worth and living below your self-worth and your self-value in my e-course, Break the Rules and Become Extraordinary. This e-course launches this Friday, May 22nd. Registration also closes on the same day. So I highly encourage that you click the link that is attached to this live video, and to, if you want to learn more, and to also register today. This is a 3-part e-course which will take place. It will take you about a month to go through. It's kind of self-paced, but each week a new series of lessons is released along with worksheets and templates that help you to implement what you learn. And then you also get the bonus webinar and ebook of mine called The Magic of Self-Care. And as soon as you register, you get access to my audio class, The 10 Secrets of a Woman of Action. All right. So again, when you enroll, you immediately get access to my audio class, The 10 Secrets of a Woman of Action. Then every week, beginning on Friday, May 22nd, a new module is released with video lessons and worksheets to help you implement what you learn. And then once all of the lessons and modules have been released at the end of the program, you will get my bonus material, the webinar plus the ebook, The Magic of Self-Care. And I'm doing this now in honor of the 4th anniversary of me publishing my book, The Magic of Self-Love. I published it in May of 2016. And so I wanted to incorporate some of the things that I have learned since publishing that book about self-love, about self-worth, about what it means to know yourself and to go for or allow yourself to receive the desires of your heart. And so I created this e-course to help women with that. So having my book, The Magic of Self-Love, is, you don't have to have that to complete this course, but it can help. But again, make sure that you click the link to enroll now. And there are payment options available. And if you select the deluxe package payment option, you will also receive 1 ticket to the webinar that I'm doing this Friday with licensed therapist Neogela Hendricks Wilson. We are doing a webinar called How to Incorporate New Coping Strategies When Your Old Tools No Longer Work, which is perfect right now in this pandemic time that we're living in this time when we're all having to adjust to a new way of living. You know, how do you cope? How do you alleviate stress? How do you find peace of mind? How do you keep from, spiraling out and becoming so overwhelmed that, you just become so stressed out? How do you cope with the things that are happening in our world? And sometimes you can be in a crisis and not know it. A crisis doesn't necessarily look like you lost everything and the whole world is falling apart for you. It could just mean day after day of being overwhelmed, stressed, overburdened to the point where you're kind of at your tipping point and you just don't know what to do. You can be shutting down, and just mentally shutting down. And that could be a crisis for you. So how do you incorporate new coping strategies when your old crisis tools no longer work? That is what Nia and I will be talking about this Friday. And so when you get the deluxe package of my e-course, it includes a ticket to that webinar. So again, this is the time to enroll in Break the Rules and Become Extraordinary. You are worthy of being, doing, and having more. You do not have to live average, ordinary, regular, and that feels like an unfulfilled life. That's what that looks like, feeling unfulfilled. It doesn't mean that you have to have all of the luxuries of life and be living so lavishly and all of that kind of stuff. Because even if you have all of that and you feel unfulfilled, then you're not living your extraordinary self. And so in Break the Rules and Become Extraordinary, I guide you through the top 3 rules that every woman has to break and how to break them so that you can live a more fulfilling, joyous, empowered life where you are living your authentic self. So I hope that you click the link and join me. Again, there are payment options available. And as soon as you register, you get immediate access to my audio class, The 10 Secrets of a Woman of Action. And then on Friday, May 22nd, the first lessons will be released, and every week after that, new lessons will be released in our classroom, and you can take your time going through them. I will not grade you on it. I'm not judging you. Just it's self-paced. You can work your way through the course material, and then at the end, you will get access to my bonus webinar and ebook, The Magic of Self-Care. And then if you select the deluxe package of this e-course, you will also get a ticket to the webinar that I'm doing with licensed therapist Nia Hendricks Wilson, how to incorporate new coping strategies when your old crisis tools no longer work. And that is also taking place this Friday. So make sure that you click the link and register now, because registration does close on Friday. You will not be able to get in. So make sure that you click the link to learn more and to register now. And I look forward to seeing you in the classroom. If you have any questions, make sure you comment them down below and I can respond. But again, payment options are available. And when you click the link, it will tell you all about the course and all of the different payment options that I made available to you. All right. So I look forward to seeing you on your more extraordinary level. I look forward to working with you. And I'm excited about presenting this course to you. I've already filmed a lot of the course material. And so in the classes that I thought were just going to be like the video classes that I thought were just going to be, a certain amount of time or a certain amount of length, end up being twice as long, because I felt like Spirit was just speaking and just more was coming out of me as I was teaching and recording the video. So I am so excited about presenting this to you. And I hope that you take this opportunity to become your more extraordinary self, because you deserve it and you feel it within yourself that you can be, do, and have more. And if you are feeling that, and you know that this is for you, then definitely click the link to learn more and to register now. All right. So I will see you in the course, or maybe I'll do another live before then. But I will definitely see many of you in the course, and I look forward to that. That is my expectation, because I'm an extraordinary woman. I don't just believe it, I expect it. So I can't wait to see you there. All right. Peace and love.